Hello, I'm Tony, and I thought I ought to give you a little introduction to who I am. So, I was a dentist. I'll put some details down, but this is where I fiddle around at the moment, just trying to promote prevention. And so I'm hoping we can help one another. So, let's see how we get on.
Yeah, so that's an introduction that I might leave on all the videos and then tell people to skip through, because what you want is them to actually learn a little bit about teeth and how to look after people's mouths. And I can easily do that. It's just getting a format that everyone's happy with. So here, as a dentist, I used to have to do continual professional development, CPD, as does everyone. And I'm sure you have something similar, and just making a format that's usable for all of us. So I've made this website. If you went on that one, teethforlife.org.uk, that's for dentists, really, trying to promote prevention. And yeah, it's like turkeys voting for Christmas. I haven't had a great response. But if you actually look at the website that this is on, you'll see me on the homepage, and that's why I've done it and why I continue to do it. Well, you do these things because, quite frankly, it's the right thing to do. So on all the CPD, you can all the references will be visible as such. Anyone can look at them via Wikipedia or Google and just come to it. But we have to be careful that we don't get false news, and that's why I like people to use my app. I'll plug my app. But anyway, there will be a format there. I think that will work for everyone. So you just have to write which title. So the title there won't be developing a dental health service. This particular one, I think it said teeth structure decay and erosion. So that would be one. But what I'm aiming for with all of them is to help improve the knowledge and communication as a health advocate. So that's what we're trying to do. And the objectives then are to make anyone looking at them think about, kind of what they're doing, and maybe hopefully they'll have heard something different. And is it, worth it? Reflect is basically thinking back at what you do on a day-to-day basis and how you can implement or change or even correct me on what you do. And the other one is about all these things should be enjoyable. I think it's very difficult to enjoy it. That's why I'm going to try and keep it to 20 minutes. So better crack on. The IT and communication resources are stuff that they're my references. So it's a whole different ball game now. I used to have things called books when I was learning, and yeah, to develop CPD outcomes. Really, for this is all about communication. Okay, today it's about this. It's continuing with the structure of the mouth, and we're going to talk about the dentine in particular, and also that's where we get a lot of wear that can really affect people in care homes as we get older. And anyway, people who are not even in care homes. And we'll talk about that and a bit about tooth sensitivity, because that's where dentine is more involved than enamel. And so kind of go over a little bit what we said before. So this is just to say that we're talking about dentine. And I think this is the video showing, the tooth structure. So we'll skip through that because you'll see another. But right, so the difference between dentine and enamel is dentine is more organic, so it's softer. Enamel is extremely hard, and while we said it remineralizes, it happens on a very microscopic level. And dentine, well, obviously it's hard, but because of its organic material, and as we'll see with the tubules, you can get bacteria in it, and that's when decay really kicks off. So so I was just showing that the enamel had what we call enamel rods, and the dentine is what we call dentinal tubules. And then when we get older, we say the gum tends to mature. So this is kind of a little bit, it's not quite accurate, because the bone doesn't shrink back just because we get older, but the gum tends to. So you have seen this before, and it's just the picture, which I don't know. Yeah, so a bit of a giveaway, really. I like that product. But the dentine on the left, I've put as a yellow color, and it's full of these tubules, as we call them, the holes. And you can see the enamel on the right hasn't got any holes in it. It's mainly inorganic. So the picture below, if it works, yeah, so the picture below shows how dentinal tubules form and enamel form. So really they form from different cells just as we develop. And so that's important when it comes to sensitivity. So yeah, so why do we get sensitivity? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but we ought to know a little bit more about the gums. And so this was just a video I've made again about something else that we'll come on to. It's about gum health and how we check that. But you can see I'm using similar color for the dentine. And when I was making this little picture, that's where it was. And this was to explain the difference, what we call the BPE. So BP score of 0 is very good. And then we measure them. And this isn't quite exactly the same as the dentist classification, but it gives you a good instance of idea of what's going on. So you want to have a BPE of 0, 1s, or 2s, but above that's a problem. And the same thing's a problem for your residents. But the only way we can check your BPE is if it's measured by a dentist or a hygienist or a therapist. It's definitely something you can't do. And it gives a huge indication on our health that we'll come back to later on. Yeah, if you've got a BPE 6, you'll be wearing dentures unless you lose them. So yeah, so this is when you should see children scribbling their teeth, I wouldn't worry too much, because actually, as long as they keep the teeth clean, it's fine. And they don't really have a gum recession as such. What happens is that the teeth just fall out at the correct age. So I wouldn't worry as long as they're cleaning the teeth. So again, this is relevant to yourselves and your family, not just your residents. So anyway, that's what happens. The gum tends to shrink back a bit. This one we'd say has got a BPE of about 1 because the gum's quite highly attached. But you can see the dentinal tubules that are organic and they've still got holes in them. They're above the gum level, and that's why you can get sensitivity. So how does it happen? So I made this other video, and this chap is explaining it, rather showing you how you may have cleaned your teeth in the past. And quite frankly, he's cleaning them like a 3-year-old. And the horizontal manner in which he's brushing them can cause damage, especially as the gums have receded. So we don't recommend this kind of toothbrushing method, but at least he's cleaning his teeth, and hopefully that's a fluoride toothpaste, and that'll be a big help. Yeah, and you don't want to try too hard, and that's why some electric brushes have these kind of sensors in them, and that's what you're trying to avoid, because in later life, being over vigorous can cause problems, even if you're not having an acidic drink. And this is what happens: you get wear on the teeth. The enamel hasn't worn, but the dentine has worn. And then if you're unable to clean that area because it's sensitive or because your manual dexterity is gone, you're more likely to get plaque or the biofilm collect in these parts, reducing decay. So this is what we tend to recommend is power brushing. And I don't really quite like the way that he's holding that, but they definitely will get in a little bit better, and you won't push too hard. So also it's best if we learn how to use these, because as a carer, if you're really struggling to keep your mouth clean and need someone else to do it, it's a lot easier for the carer to manipulate it. So yeah, this one I should have looked at a little bit longer, because it's only showing the front teeth, and I think the angle of the brush is wrong. And there he's using like an actual brush, it's a manual brush. Well, you don't want that either. You want a slow motion. It's very difficult to find a good video of someone cleaning the teeth correctly with one of these power brushes. You should just hold it against the tooth and gum at the correct angle and gradually move it across 10 seconds either side. So, I did this one. So this guy's a little bit better, but he's still moving it. And what you want to do is to divide the mouth into quadrants. So it's 10 seconds on the inside, 10 seconds on the outside, and 10 seconds at the top. These power brushes are also extremely easy to hold, especially as we get older. And when they do the majority of the work, and as we said before, they're good for the carer. So yeah, he's not doing it right, but I've made different videos on how to do it, and we'll come to that in a moment. If he ever finishes. I don't think this goes on for 2 minutes. Here we are. It didn't. So this one, oh, right. So this is what we're talking about. So again, on the left, you can see this is taken from the picture, which is the high magnification electron microscope picture of the of the dentine. And what we're trying to do here is to fill in the holes, the dentinal tubules. And we do that with a variety of toothpaste. So they're all trying to sell themselves as reducing sensitivity. And they have products within the toothpaste to help block up the tubules. So, the tubules you can see on the right have fluid in them. And so the left part, the green, is where the pulp is. And the right, where the pink is, that's the gum. And you can see that what we're trying to do is to fill up the tubules so that the fluid doesn't move within them. And so one of the things we know, so Sensodyne toothpaste has something called Novamin in, which is quite big particles. But the toothpaste I like is called Biomin, because the particles are smaller. And also they stick onto your teeth and they release fluoride, and they have the ions in that people lose when you're older in the saliva. So we'll come on to that. But basically, sensitivity occurs because the fluid within dentinal tubules is affected by what's on the outside of the mouth, whether it's cold water, whether it's chocolate, whether it's, extremely cold fizzy drinks, all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing we're talking about is wear. So I clearly haven't put these in the right order or animated them, but that's the scenario on the left. That's fine. But if you're cleaning your teeth like the chap in the previous video, then the toothbrush is going to cause some wear on the teeth. And there are other potential causes, but you won't wear down the enamel with your toothbrush, but you will wear down the dentine. So that's why we recommend cleaning your teeth in a certain manner and not over aggressively. You don't really need a hard toothbrush. You probably just need a medium. And some people think you shouldn't have a soft, and that used to be the case because toothpaste itself was abrasive. And a soft toothbrush holds the toothpaste in better. But I think most toothpaste now aren't that bad. However, on the right, what you can see is you're not holding the toothbrush at the right angle. The gap will fill in with the biofilm or plaque. So that's where you're going to get more decay. So we know that the decay progresses more rapidly in dentine than it does in enamel. And so this root decay, as we call it, is a big problem. And so it's something that you, as a carer, can keep an eye on, hopefully. So this is a review of it. I made this video a while ago talking about sensitivity. And so, we'll just talk over it as it comes along. So this is how a mouth looks. And it says that the gums mature, as we've spoken about, and the roots become exposed, which is what the sort of darker area is. So, the sensitivity is when the nerve of the tooth is insulted, in this case by acid, or using your toothbrush, or if you grind your teeth because you're stressed. But you want to be on the left, ideally. We want to have nice, healthy mouths, and we don't want to be stressed. I think the video actually mentions that. Anyway, so as I said, it's a while since I did this. But what we're talking about, there are things that kind of strip the coating. That not all biofilm's bad, but these things that are acidic, so your orange juices, your carbonated drinks, and overbrushing, can wear the teeth and make it erode. And so again, when you have erosion, which is, if you have sugar on the teeth, but you have carbonated drinks, or you have, even yogurts or Prosecco, then your teeth's constantly dissolving. And the enamel has the same, it'll just be soft. So whilst if you use a fluoride rinse, this is specifically if you're sick a lot, I think it's for pregnant women, but never clean your teeth after you have had what we call an acid attack. And all the advice is, cleaning your teeth is in my app. And this one is just showing you all different types of electric brushes, power brushes. I prefer a small head, and you don't have to spend the earth on them. Last year's model, or even the previous ones, are far better than what they were 20 years ago. So I'd save your money for something else, probably a better toothpaste. And also disclosing tablets. And as for stress, listen to my voice. It's really dull, boring, can't have a go with that. So this is about different types of desensitizing toothpaste, and they're all on it. Now, this is advertising. They all say they've got a product that will do it's the best thing since sliced bread. But this is a good product, but it's expensive. So I think you should apply it when you can. just at the areas where it's needed. And we can go through that at a later date. And this again is just talking about why your teeth may be sensitive and what you can do about it. Maybe you want to consider a change in your diet. Oh, and when it comes to having cider or having your prosecco and your white wine, as it says at the bottom, teenagers with soft carbonated drinks, then this is what we're talking about, the enamel dissolving. But the same thing happens with your dentine. It'll be a lot softer. So yeah, I think this was about motivation, and also where you can get some further advice on how to look after yourself. And we'll also go into diet. I think that was it. That one. Oh no, it's the same video as before. So yes, this was explaining that how you fill in the dentinal tubules. Other ways of filling them in are different to the paste. Some people said about using lasers. Some people said about using ozone. But I think the particular toothpaste I recommend, which is called Biomin, it's just expensive. But if everybody used it, it would come down in price. And it's a British invention, so it should be used. And so there, I hope you've learned a little bit more about the structure of the tooth, how teeth wear, especially the dentine, and why we get sensitive teeth. And we'll go on to how we can help the situation in a later video. And again, you'll have seen this before. It's how you can just record your learning and just think about what you do for your patients, or rather your residents, and for the family members and yourself. So I hope you found that of use. I'll probably do it again when I have time. And I certainly need to improve my drawing. Anyway, that's it. Oh yeah. Fill it in a trustworthy manner. You're only cheating yourself.